My name is Ramon Gallegos, and for my senior seminar project, I'm going to be talking about music alleviating college students of stress. So, for just some background information on music's influence on stress and anxiety, I first looked at Davis and Thought, uh, their research from 1989, and their study looked at the influence of preferred relaxing music on measures of state anxiety, relaxation, and physiological responses. And the four physiological responses that they took into consideration was muscular constriction, heart rate, muscle tension, and finger skin temperature. And are these all these four physiological responses contribute to signs of stress and anxiety? And the results of their study did prove that relaxing music decreased anxiety and relaxation increased, while also decreased anxiety had more significant results than relaxation. Following that, in 2005, Kimber and Danhauer um, came to the conclusion that music can be portrayed as a form of therapy through their study, and it looked at music's effect on patients that had undergone serious symptoms, and they discovered that music improves the mood of patients, it decreases the levels of anxiety, it promotes comfort and relaxation for those patients. So next we have Labed, Schmidt, Babin, and Farr, who all cooperated to make a study in 2007 titled Coping with Stress, the Effectiveness of Different Types of Music. And they found that different types of music can produce either negative or positive emotions. And they mainly looked at classical and self-selecting relaxing music, which contributed to an increase in relaxation and a reduction of anxiety and anger, um, in comparison to those who were silent and listened to heavy metal, which were led to more aggressive behavior and hostile nature. So moving on to 2004, a study was done by a group of people who decided to aim their attention at playing music to relieve stress in a college setting. And they found that music therapy also had the power to alleviate college students of stress before it turns into a disease, which would be trait stress or trait anxiety. And then lastly, um, a guy by the name of Kuhn proposed a study in 2005, which stated that music regulates positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. And all these things are either both physiological or psychological toward the health of humans to have like a good life. Also found out that students who do not value music in a whole, could be experiencing more stress and anxiety than those who do value music. So for my study, I ended up running a convenience sample at the college I attend now, Mount St. Mary's University, in Emmitsburg, Maryland. And I just made it mandatory for participants to be a college student at the Mount, also being within 18 years of age and 22, and both genders were able to be a part of the study. And the materials I used was a computer or phone for the participant to answer the survey via email. I used a software called Qualtrics, which I used to create the survey, um, which was in the email. And I used an inventory called the State Trait Anxiety Inventory, which measures trait anxiety in the participants, so I can correlate that to how much music they were listening to. So for the procedure, I basically just sent out an email to all the undergraduates at the Mount, and I had them read and sign an informed consent, and then I asked them to self-report the average amount of music and minutes that they listened to per day. They had to open their phones and follow the directions to access the app usage for music software, which was on Qualtrics. And inside Qualtrics, I asked the participants to tell me the genre they most commonly listen to on a day-to-day basis. and I had them fill out the stage trait inventory, anxiety inventory, which had 20 items on it. And once the participants were done, I thanked them for their participation in the survey. So without much research being done on music's influence on college students, I hypothesize that those who listen to more hours of music on campus will ultimately experience less stress. And what interests me in this topic was that not much research has been done on the topic, and it was kind of convenient the fact that I am a student here, so it would be easy, um, you know, to get a lot of people to be intrigued to do the survey. Plus, a lot of people listen to music on a day-to-day basis anyway. So I also lastly was interested in seeing what genres preferred nowadays and how influential that genre is on the stress levels of college students. So for my results, my total responses was 158, and the most frequent responses said that they felt positive, non-stress related feelings with listening to music, and they did not frequently feel the negative stress related feelings. So the numbers broke down to 116 responses saying that they felt either a little upset or not at all, and 28 responses saying that they felt somewhat upset or very much so stressed. And 98 responses said that they felt calm while listening to the music, compared to 53 responses saying they rarely felt calm. And the survey was a qualitative response, so it made it kind of difficult to perform any statistical analysis and/or analyze the correlations that I had between stress levels and the amount of music being listened to by the college students. So, in conclusion, for the improvements to the research, I basically just compared my study to the previous ones. And my study asked participants to respond to a survey with questions asking how much music they listen to, what they listen to, and their feelings while listening to the music. While previous studies mainly looked at the physiological basis of stress and the influence that music can have on alleviating stress through those physiological um, standpoints. So in the future, I would just combine the two and try to run the study of self-reported as well as physiological monitoring before and after listening to the music and being confronted with stress-inducing scenarios. And finally, just the limitations of my study was mainly the self-reporting stress levels, because it kind of leaves a lot of uh, missing gaps and is open to misinterpretation and false reporting. And two other limitations could have been the voting campaign being right around the time that I ran my study, and COVID-19, which are just these are just two things that people could have just felt stressed from, that are just outside factors. And another limitation could have been the variability and how much stress certain people are exposed to in a day-to-day life, and how much stress they have experienced through their life, which could vary can vary like throughout the different type of people on campus. So for the future, it'd probably be in the best interest to kind of incorporate this study into more real life situations. An example of that could just be music being played during classes or exams, and performing experiments to address and categorize any possible differences between the scores.